Okay, so Acer Eraser has another question, and our timing is perfect. So I had a question, but right now I am just feeling, I don't know, something, but I feel like I just need one more reading. Not sure what it's about, but something is pulling on my feels hard. Mr. Gerardo, you're very welcome. I'm glad. Um, so you have a feeling you need something, you're not sure what. I get that feeling sometime too. And it's weird, you kind of want to call somebody and say, hey, could you give me a general reading about what? I don't know, something, this thing. Um, so, it's very natural. And the thing is, normally if someone is vague, I push back. However, you're being as specific as you're physically capable of being. So you're not blocking. That's the big thing. I usually push back when someone's being vague because they're blocking. In your case, you're not blocking. You just don't know. That's fine. So we can dive in. You just mentioned in chat maybe draw something. I'm not sure. I'm going to draw an ideogram. So this is doesn't mean anything. Okay, you don't need to preserve this symbol. But for me, an ideogram is an external representation of an internal process. And so you let go of control of your hand and you let it happen. The what you draw doesn't necessarily mean anything, but you use the ideogram from there to probe into the matter at hand. This is a technique that people use with remote viewing. So remote viewing is a whole other art and science that I won't be getting into today. But there's a lot of interesting stuff on YouTube about remote viewing. So if you're curious about that, take a look. They call it scientific. I don't know about that, but it is what it is. But having said that, an ideogram is just like anything else. It's a way of focusing your mind on something external so that it can get out of the way and the message can come through. Um, hey, you know what? Let me just take a look at the chat. Raina says it looks like a beautiful crane in flight. I don't even know if I see that. That is really, I'm going to keep it. And hopefully later on I'll see what you're seeing. I just see a lot of um, energies and emotions. Sorry, hang on just a second. Sorry, I'm going, just one sec, guys. Okay. I talk a little bit about what I just experienced. Sorry. I can only imagine like a skeptic watching this thinking I am a total jackass, but that's fine. I'm going to deal with that embarrassment. Uh, so here's what I saw, man. When you're doing meditative work, you'll be tempted to spend some time doing astral projection work um, because it's fun and because it's exciting. And you will encounter wannabe teachers. Specifically, there's one in particular who's got his eye on you. He's an idiot, and he is absolutely not helpful in any way. He's also harmless unless you take him seriously. At which point, he will feed you a lot of fascinating bullshit. And it will be like, oh my God, man, that makes so much sense. But in the like stoner, it makes sense that like if you were sober, you would think, what, that's just a lot of double speak. But in the moment, it will be like poetic and symbolic and like, wow, that is so deep. This guy is going to open all the doors for me. He is going to blow my chakras wide open. And he will suck energy right out of you. all the while promising that he is the path to salvation and enlightenment and all the typical cult leader stuff. Um, so just, anybody who's eager to be your teacher, that's not a teacher. Um, so uh, it's yeah, and he's a little pissed at me, but whatever. He's also harmless, so don't worry. This low frequency, low energy being, it's fine. um, most of the really the entities out there that would harm really are harmless unless you give them their energy. And the specific way they harm you is by feeding you a bunch of nonsense that you waste your time on and taking your energy away from you that you give them freely. Just don't. Problem solved. And you can change your mind at any time. You're never stuck. You're never contractually obligated to anything. Oh, yeah. And soul contracts, bullshit. 100%. You can agree to do something with someone and then go ahead and do it, but you can change your mind. Freedom is infinite and irrevocable. You can never give up your freedom, period. That is a principle of existence that no one can ever change. Believe me, they try. They really, really try. But sorry, I'm talking about stuff that you're going to encounter specifically, Acer Racer, because you're going to run into a lot of people who will have very fancy, enlightened sounding names for giving up your freedom and giving up your free will in order to accomplish some sort of opening of doors and new access to, who knows. Um, if I were to make one up right now, I would say, hey, I can give you access to the Akashic records. Pay me $9.95 a month, and I will give you a course on Akashic record, whatever. So I just off the top of my head, that sounds pretty appealing, doesn't it? Like just intuitively, you're like, oh, Akashic records. I hear that thing. That's a thing, right? And yeah, I'll have access to all the knowledge of the universe. That's perfect. Sounds like it makes sense. No, that's made up. Not to say that people who teach those things are full of crap. There's people in the world who teach that stuff, and you can get something out of it. I'm just saying that that's an example of if I were to structure a scam that would take other people's energy away from them unfairly, that's how I would do it. And so it'll make total sense in the moment. And then an hour later, you think back and go, wait a minute, what am I thinking? That's on that level. So just keep an eye out. But that's only that little tale. There was more to discover. There's more to that, man. I have a feeling you can probe that ideogram. I think you can pull out wisdom from that thing. Oh, let me catch up on chat here. Okay, Frank is laughing at me. Um, energy sucking. I've been told many times about many times about myself without knowing it, and I hate that, but I've done better about it. I understand what you're saying. I've had some already try that, and I've ignored it, moved on rather than learn it through good sources. Okay, awesome. Um, one of the things that like the false prophet thing, it goes away. The stage that happens after that, because I haven't had anyone try to be my teacher in quite some time. Um, but then the thing that follows that right afterwards is people who resent you for being completely uninterested in their offer of taking your energy. So you get people who just trash talk about you and who just like do everything they can to tear you down by saying bad things about you. And so you're like, how did I get this enemy? This is so weird. This is fine. You just got to roll with it, man. You got to tough through it. You'll be okay. It does not affect your enlightenment or your progress towards your goals one way or the other. It's fine. And in fact, those people inadvertently, in their derailment of things you were doing, end up steering you towards what you're supposed to do anyway. They actually work towards the goal. The thing is about these people who want to drain your energy, they themselves are still subject to fate. Fate is still drawing you towards where you're supposed to be, and will use them as much as anyone else. So no worries, man.